Hello, it's Nathan Debaski. I'm exhausted. I just have to tell you I'm exhausted. Completely exhausted. Been so worried about my little love nugget, Dana. I think I almost lost her this week, or lost several embryos, that's for sure. Oh, God. Let's touch and go. Here at PETA, in Greenpeace, we know how to treat, mammals, and, the human species is something I think we need to reevaluate maybe and be more humane with. I almost sent her to the Humane Society this week, but anyhow, they do these things with her. She doesn't do her comedy. As her father would say, they'll stone you if you do, and they stone you if you don't. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So either way, regardless if she feels bad, she's the comedian of comedians, of mediums. But anyhow, speaking of stoning, we here at PETA and Greenpeace, we had this emergent phone call, and we are short-handed here. So we have been learning to use AI and drones and other equipment to help. And you may not know this, but have you ever seen a bighorn sheep? Are you aware of a bighorn sheep? So we got this terrible, nasty message that, that people were throwing rocks at bighorn sheep in the Grand Canyon. And I have to tell you that bighorn sheep have been in the Grand Canyon since the Grand Canyon, basically after the water left and it receded, bighorn sheep have been there. So they are specifically made for Grand Canyons. And people were throwing rocks at them. First off, the Grand Canyon is very protected. There are many indigenous species there. You're not supposed to touch, take anything in, or take anything out. So when these humans that weren't very humane started coming in and throwing rocks at these sheep that have been here for years, they don't realize that these sheep have been built to climb and sustain the canyon. They have the tiniest feet in the world. They're like, look at those toes. All my climbing buddies wear, binding shoes so they can climb, have smaller feet to get in the holes. Well, God perfectly made these bighorn sheep to climb. Just put some stilettos on a massively built creature. It's kind of like, who else would be made to wear stilettos and climb that tall but RuPaul and maybe these sheep. So here they are. God's basically built these creatures to be in the Grand Canyon, and we have tourists throwing rocks at them. I hate to say who's been here first, but there's no one to say that for these animals that are being encroached on. And it's not like they're building there. It's not, even if they were building there, it's still the animal's natural habitat. And since therefore, as most animals are, they are protected, especially in national parks, and these bighorn sheep are very protective. So what are we going to do here? What do we do? Just let people throw rocks at these amazing creatures? No. So Nathaniel and I, we got to thinking, and we thought, what could we do? We don't have the manpower to go down there, personally. We'd have to, parachute in or helicopter in or donkey in and just sit up, So what we did is, do any of you at home have Furbos? in which you talk to your pet. So what we did is we got some Furbos that launch the treat launcher Furbos. Do you have them for your dog? So we have just put a couple of those in the Grand Canyon, just put them behind things. And, then we'll, if someone comes along and they're roughing up these innocent little sheep, these beautiful sheep, we just, first off, we may use our voice and we say, hello, do you know these sheep are endangered and, protected and have been here for thousands of years? And most of the time we make it an asshole. And they're like, what is that, speaking, tumbleweed? And then I say, listen, I am one bad mother trucker. I know the periodic table front to back, and I can lit your ass on fire. But instead, I'm going to give you a warning. And then they think it's like Moses in the burning bush. But then I start launching rocks back at them, And first off, it's just, maybe just, spooky. Like the worst it could be is maybe a bee sting. But that's all we have for now is the magic Furbos, because, who wants to go into somebody's, natural habitat that they've been completely built and designed by God to be there and function there and have people throw rocks at them? I don't know. So we've been working the Furbo. I've been working on my bad mother trucker accent. And they better not mess with Nathan, that's all I have to say. So I do care about these Bighorn-sheep. I do. Somebody's got to care. You got to care, And if you stop caring about things, like Dana's the only alien in the entire world. We'll never ever have one like her. We hope we don't again. But if she's not protected and preserved, all that science and technology and history just goes along with her. It should be more scientific than it is, but that's why I'm so very concerned with her. So it's warm up here. I've got to, I have about, 18 Furbos, 28 at Phantom Ranch with the donkeys, and about 18 down here, and then, one at House Rock. So anyhow, I just, in case someone hasn't told you, you're designed to be here. There is a specific person and creation for you. If you need an evidence-based science, go look at the feet of these Bighorn-sheep. They're huge creatures with tiny feet that are meant just to scale rocks and mountains. Who would have thunk it, right? Okay, I gotta go. Oh, excuse me. Hello? You are encroaching upon an endangered species. Do you hear my voice? It does have a tone. Thank you.